Well, welcome to the final session. You made it. Congratulations. You've completed the full Pathways Engagement uh, enrollment and engagement pilot. And I want to say thank you to Patty for making this pilot possible. I've learned an awful lot from doing it, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback. And it's only going to get better from here. And everybody's gotten really some great stuff to apply. I don't know what that great stuff is. You know what that is. It might be just one little thing, but it may make a big difference. And so that's why I'm confident everybody got something great from it. But it's going to be great because you're going to make it great by applying something that's relevant to you in your own way, in an effective way. So really glad that you're here with me and really appreciate your feedback and input and participation. And whether you may attended one session or all six, thank you. Today we're going to review all five tools and show you how they work together. And you'll leave with next steps to make it real in your club or area. So 6 weeks, five tools, and all of them are aimed at getting one big shift, a culture shift. A shift of a culture, if this is applicable to your club, where pathways is something feared or looked down upon or even just not in anybody's awareness. We want to shift that culture to where pathways is just a normal occurrence and a normal thing for Toastmasters to get involved with, stay engaged with, and to bring new people into it. We call that a pathways from day one culture. And it doesn't mean that somebody has to be enrolled in pathways from day one, although that would be ideal, but that's not necessary. But we want people hearing about pathways, being aware of it, because they're seeing it in the environment from the first day they start attending a Toastmasters meeting. So the tools we covered were the Start Here button, the Quick Start checklist, the Pathways Culture Building Framework, the A Student Strategy, and the Pathways Progress Coaching Tool. So you've had a button, a checklist, a framework, a strategy, and a tool. What more can a person ask for? And the thing is that together they create a Pathways from Day One culture. The tools work together as synergy. They don't work. They'll work one by one and individually. They'll even work if you use it tactically, like every once in a while. They'll do a little bit. But when they really come into their full power, when you begin to incorporate them into your culture of your group, and when you start incorporating aspects of different ones together, they begin to work in a synergy. So here's how that synergy works. The Start Here button is a clear starting point. It lets new members, in fact, I just used it. We had a new member yesterday, and I told her, go to this Start Here button and go ahead and get started on your first pathway. We like for new members to do their first pathway in the first 30 days. It's not a requirement, but we really want you to get off to a good start, and we're here to support you. And so go visit this website, and we'll look at it together later if you need some help with it. Just a clear starting point, not telling them to go someplace and look through a number of pages to get there, or anything at all, or trying to explain the whole big picture of pathways, because the icebreaker project, which is the point of the Start Here button, will lead them to pathways because they're going to want to get credit for it. So it's going to work perfectly. So just a clear single issue starting point. Then there's the quick start checklist, and this allows a person coming into the group for the first time or after a couple sessions, if they haven't gotten it originally, to get clear structure and support of how to hook into the local group. What can they do first? What should they ask somebody? Who should they talk to? It gives them guidance very gently on each of those, as simply as identify one person and ask them why they joined Toastmaster. So it's really designed to help a person hook into the culture and not have to feel like a wallflower, even if they're shy. And then we saw the culture framework. And this is a growth environment. And they're very simple items to be aware of while you're conducting your normal meeting. You just start to seed them in the different aspects of your regular meeting, and you begin to look for places to expand and to throw even more seeds in. And eventually what you have is an environment for growth. Then we had the A student strategy, and that was smart planning for club success. And finally, last week we looked at the progress coaching tool, which is to help us build momentum and recognition. So the 5 tools working together are going to offer a clear starting point, structure and support for a new member coming in, and structure and support for all Toastmasters and then the leadership to have structure and support to help the new member hook into the rhythm of the club. And then overall, that has to take place in a setting. We've got 2 nice diamonds or jewels here, a clear starting point, a structure and frame, a structure and support, but that's going to have to sit in a setting in order to be displayed. And so the setting is a growth-oriented environment. And then we took it more to the leadership and strategy level with the Smart Planning for Club Success tool, the A Student Strategy, and that will allow us to plan and implement and extend and create a succession program for all the work that we're doing with the culture that we're developing. And then a momentum and recognition tool. Now it begins to go more to coaching, and not in an official way, but rather in a way that's just helpful to other people and helping people to get onto their growth path and to continue in it. Used together, they reinforce and multiply each other's impact. So I highly recommend that you start with the 1 or 2 that resonate the most, because that's probably the one that's most relevant to you and the easiest for you to implement first, and then start looking to implement that and then expand that. They don't have to be all done at once. This is not meant to be a huge, big project in addition to the other huge projects a Toastmaster has to do, especially leadership, but rather it's kind of a different way of looking at things and some simple little tools to kind of ease into the bigger tools that are really the real powerhouses here. They're all designed to be small hinges, but those small hinges are purposely chosen to swing big doors. We want to roll. There's 2 doors here, and one is as a membership, and I have an enrollment and engagement membership initiative that I'll be rolling out in Division A starting basically next week. And it's going to be like the 5 tools, but it's a little bit more involved because it's a little bit more of a complex topic, but it starts out very simple, just like the 5 tools for pathways and enrollment engagement. And the pathways is the other big door. And that's what we're focusing on here in this pilot. And each of those little hinges, once they're aligned properly and they're tightened up and they're oiled, will allow, with just a gentle, consistent pressure on the door, will allow that door to swing without much effort. This year in my club, Ozark Orders, we made presidents distinguished. It was not hard to do. Basically, what we did is we implemented the tools. They were not yet formed yet. The tools are designed on skill sets that I have from my career and my profession and decades of learning and experience in these areas. But the tools encapsulate them, and they allow me to be able to communicate it to the leaders in Ozark Orders. But the Ozark Orders it didn't really it didn't take much to get that president's distinguished. We did have to do the work, and we did do the work. And the club participated, but they had a way to participate. They had motivation to participate. They saw the relevance of participating. And what we were able to accomplish was there's really no pathway superstars in the group at all. And most of the group was new. We went from 8 members to 18. Now, yes, as of yesterday, we have 18. We went from 8 to 18 members over the course of the year. We lost 2, so we actually went to 20. And so a lot of those people are new. So it really just took a little bit of leadership from basically one person, but with other people who were a part of the team who picked up and were able to pick up how to do these things. And that's what you can bring into your own club. It doesn't really matter if other people are know how to do it or understand what it's about. Just start like I did, very simply, without making big waves, and just start implementing at my own level. Now, it helped that I was VPE and VPM because I had more leeway in what I implemented. But even if I wasn't, I would have just started at an even lower level, and I would have started bringing in the VPE and the VPM on board, not by telling them what to do, not by forcing on them, but simply by doing it myself at my own level as a member, and then modeling it and then helping them to see it. So anybody can pick up these tools in your club, and most of all you first, because you've worked with this pilot. But it's really simple to get people involved in some of these tools at some level. And once everybody's starting to do it, new members will just pick up and see it as natural. So it's the small hinges that will swing those big doors, and it doesn't take superstars and pathways. It doesn't take superstar leaders, and it doesn't take a strong base. The Ozark Orders is really not a very strong club at all at this point. We're getting stronger, and now I have a whole brand new year as VPE and VPM, and now there's more that we've got in place that will be making it stronger. But my point is, this can be started right now, right from where you're at, with what you have to work with. It's a system. It's not just tools. They're not isolated ideas. They work together. And they create, this is very important, they create a repeatable onboarding and engagement system. And you can start it from where you're at, and you can just start modeling. You can start implementing. You can start introducing it into the club at whatever level you're at. And if you're at a leadership level where it's a part of your job to do these things, well, then you can implement it faster because it's a part of your job. If it's not a part of your job, you can use what all leaders within Toastmasters have to have in order to do anything, and that's influence. And so it's an excellent way to begin to learn influence. Toastmasters is not really leadership in a top-down style doesn't work so well in Toastmasters because everybody's a volunteer. So the beauty of that for anybody who's wanting to lead in Toastmasters is that it really sharpens your influence game. So use this to start sharpening your influence game and start influencing, or what I would call leading from the middle. So in other words, leading right from where you are, but understanding all the players, all the stakeholders, and understanding how to translate or amplify their voices and how to work together. It's a very powerful position that people have when they realize that they can do that. And the result is that more members stay, more members grow, and more clubs thrive. Adapting it to your club or area. You can start small, and I recommend maybe that you do. Or if you're really motivated, you can go all in. You could try one tool with a new member next week. Just very simple. If you get a new member coming in, tell them about the Start Here button. If you are not really in charge of your club's website, you might talk to the person who does do that about maybe putting a new member Start Here button on the website. You can use my ugly button, and it's free for your use, or if you want to make a fancy one, make a fancy one. But one way or the other, you can, you're welcome to make a different button and make it fit your website. But the beauty of an ugly button is everybody knows it, and that's why I use the ugly button. But it's your website, it's your club's website. Do it the way you want to do it. But just try one tool at whatever level you're at, and then work from there. See where it goes from there. Or you can introduce the full system in your next officer meeting. There's an upcoming need to do a club success plan. Maybe that's a good time to start introducing it. Have a pre-CSP meeting to kind of throw out different ideas and prepare to do the CSP, get people's minds thinking about it. And then as a part of it, introduce these tools so people can think about them for when you do the CSP meeting. You can use that culture grid I showed you with the tool 3 to brainstorm what fits your club best. You don't have to, you can just do it yourself and get ideas for yourself to begin to model and practice. And the beauty of being in a position where all you can do is model it and practice it at your own level is that you'll learn how to use it. And so when other people start picking up and they want to do it as well, you'll have more experience on how to make those tools actually work in your club environment. So it's not a bad place to be. You have an advantage from that standpoint. If you are in a position, because it is your job to do this, I was accused last week of almost worshiping pathways by somebody who's been around for a year, but he doesn't know what Toastmasters is really about. And he hears me talking about pathways all the time, and he thinks I'm worshiping. I don't. If I wasn't the VPE, I would not talk about pathways hardly at all, maybe to an individual here or there. But it is my job to talk about it, so I do. And so if you are in the position where it's your job to do it, you have that advantage. You can just do it. And then when somebody criticizes it or somebody doesn't understand it, it's your job to do it, and you can explain that. So, whatever your position is, you've got an advantage. Use that advantage. Let the system flex to your needs, then make it consistent. It's not a rigid system. There is a system. It is a very powerful system, but it takes some time to implement and it takes some time to get good at it. And you just start where you're at with what you can do and get feedback from what you do to make it your system. Now, the benefit to you is leadership growth. And leadership growth comes through the implementation of this system, not the knowledge of it. Implementing these tools grows your leadership too. Some people wonder, well, why do I do this? Well, it's a way for me to give back because I have to charge for my coaching that I do for my career, but I really love to give back, but I can't afford to do it in my career. Toastmasters is a beautiful place. I can give back to people who are ready to grow or looking to grow or will eventually become willing to grow, and I can work within Toastmasters to do that. It's a great way for me to give back. So there's something in it for me, and that's what it is. On the other hand, also there's what comes back to me is that I get experience doing these things and I get to learn more with my own skills and related to my own skills, and I can implement them. And this is what you can do too. When you implement these tools, you grow your leadership. So do it for yourself. I do everything for myself, but it doesn't mean I'm doing it selfishly. And when a person does things for themselves, but not selfishly, they don't get burned out as fast. And they get energized because they see progress of what they're doing and they know that it's benefiting them. No, there doesn't need to be a martyr here. Don't be a martyr. Do it for yourself, but do it for yourself in a way that's not selfish. When you do it that way, it benefits other people. And thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that heart. But here's how it goes. You learn coaching. I think Toastmasters is a fantastic, unrecognized usually weekly coaching group or group coaching. And there's room in there for people to do a lot of coaching and help other people really grow. And this is why I love it. And I like growing myself too, but that's one of the ways I grow is by the coaching. And by implementing these leadership tools, you'll learn how to coach within that environment of Toastmasters, which is a powerful place to be doing it. You'll learn strategic communication. You'll learn member-focused planning. And you'll learn how to have measurable leadership impact. There's measures. How many members do we have? Well, I can show how many members there are. How many new members there are? I can show how many new members are. How many people have completed pathways? Well, I can show how many people have done that. How many people are working on pathways? I can show that. It's measurable. These are all soft skills, but because they're soft skills, soft leadership skills does not mean that they are not powerful. And in fact, the soft skills are what makes the world go round. And but the problem with soft skills is oftentimes people don't know how to measure them. But here, you're going to see the results of what you do. That's feedback. It's not failure if it doesn't work the way you wanted it to. You get that feedback. And when you've got that feedback, you can then, the next time around, adjust it a little bit and grow yourself. And then when you start getting the results, you'll see those measurable results that show what kind of impact your leadership is having. So in other words, to make a long story short, don't just use the tools, let them shape the way you lead, not by imposing a framework or a structure upon you, but by being kind of scaffolding where you're developing your own leadership style in your own context. And the scaffolding is just there temporarily while you're putting it up, but then eventually that scaffolding will go away. And then what you've got is you and your club's growth-oriented culture building system. So what's your next step? Well, it's as simple. It's your choice. Choose your next action. It's as simple as that. You could decide which tool you'll implement first or next if you're already implementing. And I do hear of people's successes in implementing, so it's going really well. You can just decide who you'll share it with. Are you a VPE, VPM, or a president, some kind of leadership position? Will you share it with the other leaders? Will you share it with the other leaders in the club? Or if you're not an official club level leader, uh, will you share it with one of the leaders and start introducing the ideas? You can even just decide, well, what conversation can you start this week about it? Now, here's a bonus. This is the last day for the pilot, but the bonus is that you can keep growing with weekly Tuesday night coaching. For the 25-26 years for Division A, I'll be doing an hour-long group coaching session every Tuesday night from 6 to 7. There will be times like holidays or Toastmasters events that will require us not to do it, but otherwise we'll have a standing hour-long group coaching. It's open to Division A because that's who I've been elected to serve, and that's really my area of responsibility. However, it's open to all District A clubs, and in fact, anybody from any Toastmaster from anywhere can join. From my perspective, it can't get in the way of Division A, but it's not going to if other people join in. So please do join in. The way the coaching works is that you bring your club questions and get real-time support. Uh, I won't reteach these tools, but each tool will be in a rotation. And if you want somebody to pick up on a tool, they can learn about the tool by watching one of the recordings or right after TLI, so July 9th it's going to come out, is I've converted all these 5 tools into a roughly 2-hour workshop where each tool gets about 20 minutes. And a person will be able to register to get that tool. All the resources will be in there, and they can watch whatever segment they want or the whole thing. And so you could take that and invite members in your club, or if you're an area director, you can invite leaders in the clubs you're working with to sign up for that workshop. It's on demand. There's not a time issue to it, and they can watch whatever tools are relevant or the whole thing. And then if they want some kind of a support as they try these tools out, they can come to the weekly coaching group and get support from me on how to do it. And so it's a come in when you want to come in, when you have a need to come in, when you have an interest, or send somebody who does have an interest so they can check it out and they can learn. So basically, I'll be doing the coaching group for whoever shows up, but I will do it on a rotation where I'll give. So you can attend yourself or send someone from your club, and it will be done on a monthly rotation. The monthly rotation will be like this. On the first Tuesday of each month, I'll be answering specifically questions on Start Here button and Quick Start checklist. Is it not working for you? Well, let's talk about it. Let's look at what might be going wrong. A lot of times these tools, it's not that the tool is not going to work, it's just that it's not being implemented. There's some little detail that's being missed. And the person is really trying, but they are not seeing what they're doing with it because they're missing it because they're so close to it. And with a little bit of coaching, they can get that little detail that will now turn a tool that hasn't been working for them into one that will work for them. So that happens with the Start Here button or the Quick Start checklist. So the first Tuesday of every month for 25-26 Toastmaster year, that's the coaching group to come to. The second Tuesday is I'll be answering specifically questions or doing some coaching on people who are trying to implement the culture building framework. On the third Tuesday will be people who are trying to implement the progress coaching tool. Fourth Tuesday will be the A student strategy. And I don't really expect a lot of people to have questions on this most of the year, probably more at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year when they're trying to do the CSP. However, I'll give priority on the fourth Tuesday to anybody who's trying to implement that. And if not, after I've handled the rotation topic for that particular week, I'll go ahead and answer any question on the 5 tools. And then fifth Tuesdays, when they happen, will be a makeup because sometimes maybe a meeting won't happen because of a holiday or a Toastmaster event. And then any kind of open coaching on the 5 tools I can do. Basically, what we're looking for here is to get clarity on the tools. And the more clarity there is on the tool, the more a person can commit to it because they understand what it is and why it's relevant and how to make it work. And when there's commitment on leaders, you or people in your club, that will then trickle down and translate into culture of growth change in your club. So with that, I want to say thank you and final reflections. Oh, I probably should show you before I do close that up. I'm going to put a link into the chat. I mentioned the workshop, and that workshop you can visit it there. You can register for it, pre-register for it, and it will give you many more details about what the workshop is. I can show you now where that goes to. It's 5 tools to transform pathways engagement. It's really the enrollment engagement initiative pilot. It's just that I've now distilled down those 5 tools into 20-minute segments, and I'm supporting it with coaching on a weekly basis. It's for Division A in District 8, but it's open to any Toastmaster who wants to join. You can get more information about what it's about and how it's going to work and who why it's relevant and who might be really happy to join in it on this webpage. Um, let's see, and then just hit pre-order now, and we'll get you registered for that. There's obviously no cost for this. There's no cost for any Toastmaster for this. But and the information on this workshop delivery website is for the sole purpose of Toastmasters members, for Toastmasters business only, and it's not to be used for solicitation and distribution of non-Toastmasters material or information. So it's just a workshop, and it's a workshop specifically made for Division A. It's not official Toastmasters, but it's relevant to Toastmasters, and I've put it up in specifically for Division A area directors and club leaders, or anybody in any Division A club that wants to grow from it. So if you're not Division A, please do check it out. I'd be more than happy to have you involved with it. And have attend the workshop when you want to. It's on demand because I'll pre-record it. It will be released on July 9th. Okay, now you showed up. You took the leap. Congratulations. I wonder, what idea or ideas will you carry forward from the series? This is not the end of the series. It's the beginning of what tools will work for you and how those tools, in what way will those tools work for you. So please stay connected and keep applying what works. If you're interested, make use of the 2025-26 Tuesday Night Coaching Series. It's in my wheelhouse. This is what I do for a living, and it's something that I'm making available to any Toastmaster as a way of giving back. Thank you for being a leader in this shift, a shift of a culture of pathways from day one. And with that, I'll stop the recording because I know people are not liking that. So let me get that recording stopped. Are you sure you want to stop? Yes.